guys. So, as you know, the world's gone crazy lately. We don't have any fights to talk about for podcasting, so I came up with a new concept. We're going to do these short, sweet videos called What If? So the first topic I'm going to do with my brother here, Reese Turner.
I'm Reese, dog.
It's what if Roy Jones stayed at heavyweight? So in, March 1st, 2003, Roy Jones went up to heavyweight, beat John Ruiz for the WBA heavyweight crown. Started his career at 154 pounds. I think he's the only one to do that, I think.
Only person started junior middleweight and win a heavyweight title, yeah.
Right, so tell people a little bit about Roy.
Oh, man. I'm a huge Roy Jones fan. He's one of my favorite fighters of all time. To me, when it comes down to just pure like natural ability, I don't think anybody was better than Roy. Because Roy would do things that no one else could really do. Like, you didn't see fighters... You saw fighters lead with quick jabs and stuff like that. He led with like hooks that were as fast as people's jabs, if not faster. He led with lead right hands that were the same, probably faster than 90% of the fighters' jabs. He won titles at middleweight, super middleweight, light heavyweight, and then he passed cruiserweight, didn't even go there, and then he won a heavyweight title.
He came back to cruiserweight and won a fringe title after as well. But
what was it?
I think it was like the WBF or something.
Oh, yeah, we don't count.
No.
When I talk about titles, I'm talking WBO, WBC, IBF,
right.
WBA, and Ring Magazine, and Lineal.
He competed in 154, 160, 68, 75, 200, 6 weight divisions.
Yeah.
Absolute savage.
Unbelievable talent. Maybe the best fighter of all time at it. At his best, to me, when he was at his peak, he's the best fighter in the history of boxing, to me.
I agree with that statement. Okay, so we were looking at the landscape of the heavyweight division in 2003. So John Ruiz lost his title to Roy.
Yeah.
Lennox Lewis had just fought... Sorry, hold on, bear with me for a second. Who did he fight? So it was just about to fight Vitaly Klitschko.
And Vladimir, the same month that Roy won his title, lost his WBO title to Corey Sanders.
Mike Tyson had one fight in 2003, and he won that fight.
Clifford ATN.
And Evander Holyfield fought James Toney in 2003.
And got stopped.
So we're going to just look at those guys at heavyweight, mostly the Klitschko brothers, Lennox, Evander, and Tyson.
Yeah.
I think a really winnable fight would have been the Corey Sanders fight for Roy.
Yeah, he would have won that. He probably would have won it for a joke.
But I don't think he would have looked at that as a... It's like, why?
No. It could be huge, though. Him and Lennox would be the only 4 belts. Each would have 2. But, no, it's not like a... It would have been a money fight just because Roy was in it, but no, I don't know if he would have fought Corey Sanders because there was a lot of other big names he could have fought.
In 2003, Mike Tyson was a shell of himself. That's a very winnable fight for Roy. If he had to beat Mike Tyson, can you imagine he had that name on his resume?
Yeah, that Mike would have probably been an easy fight for Roy.
It would have been just jabs all night.
Because Mike, don't get us wrong. The 1986 Mike Tyson that beat Trevor Berbick in 2 rounds, it was 2 rounds, but yeah. That Mike, obviously, versus a heavyweight Roy, now that's a crazy matchup. That's ridiculous. But the Mike that fought Lennox Lewis, that's the Mike we're talking about. That Mike...
He's durable.
And he obviously still punches hard as hell, and he's fast, still fast. But he didn't really have the defense he used to have at all. And he was a little bit slower because he was older, he put on some weight. That probably just would have been Roy probably just would have outboxed him.
Yeah, he would have just touched him all night and just moved away. Evander Holyfield, if you will look at the James Toney fight, he wouldn't have had much to offer Roy, I don't think, at that time.
No, it would have been a big payday and a big name. Would have been a great...
If let's say he stayed at heavyweight and he beats Evander Holyfield, he beats he beats Mike Tyson, and he just had beaten John Ruiz.
Yeah.
We're talking about, it's not even a question, the greatest fighter of all time.
The thing is about Roy is that people don't realize when you watch Roy fight at heavyweight, Roy was ripped still. He had a 6-pack. He put on like 25 pounds of lean muscle mass. And then 6 months later, he fights Antonio Tarver for the light heavyweight championship, defends it, and he cut 25 pounds of mass. If you look at him, before he went up to heavyweight, I think it was Clinton Woods was his last fight before heavyweight. Look at his body, and then look at his body when he fights Tarver.
It's different.
They're totally different, man. And that's why Roy was never the same, because his body went through so much during that period that it just kind of took his prime away from him. Yeah, it like aged his body a lot.
Yeah, it was stressful.
And you can't take nearly as good of a shot when you're weak, man. He never got back to that. When he gained that muscle, he was like a heavyweight then. He should have been a heavyweight, and he was killing himself to make that weight after that.
Yeah.
And his chin couldn't take it because he was so weak from it. It's not that he had a bad chin.
Lennox Lewis. What do you think about Lennox Lewis 2003 versus Roy Jones 2003 match?
You're going to disagree with me on this, but I honestly think, and honestly, a lot of people there'll be a lot of people that agree with me, but there'll be a lot of people that disagree with me. I think Roy would be way too fast for Lennox. Lennox would have been a hell of a matchup, and Roy wouldn't be able to do a whole bunch of crazy stuff like he did against John Ruiz. You know, he would have had to be very calculated, like maybe like the way he fought Griffin the first time. But I think he just would have been able to get in and out on Lennox before Lennox would have a chance to really catch him. That's just what I think. His foot speed, his hand speed was just too fast, in my opinion.
Okay, so I'm looking at Lennox's last 5 fights before his retirement. So his last fight was 2003. Mm-hmm. He retired. That's why the Roy Jones fight never happened. It was talked about. Roy wanted it, allegedly. He says in interviews that he wanted it. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if he really is. People would have let him have that. I think it's a terrible decision.
You got to realize, though, Marsh, you know Roy. Like, Roy would never back down to anybody. That was always his mentality.
I think that doesn't make sense. I think Lennox Lewis would get him on the ropes a lot like Montel Griffin did, but do a lot more damage. He's going to walk him down. He's not going to be worried about what's coming back. Let's look at the last 5 fights. He had David Tua, Hasim Rahman, Mike Tyson, Vitaly Klitschko. Absolute murderers all the way till the end. I don't see how... we're not talking about a shell of the Lennox Lewis. He's not what he was in the mid-90s at 2003, but he's a straight-up killer in 2003 still. Too much, too big, too strong. Just a natural heavyweight. Like, we're talking about one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. In my opinion, top 3 for fun.
Yeah, he's got to be he's definitely top 3 for me, too.
If he avoided the Lennox fight and had to beat all those older heavyweights, the heavyweight greats at that time, the Mike Tysons, the Evander Holyfields, Tony would have been a tough fight.
That would have been the fight that probably should have been made, because Tony always wanted a rematch, and he probably still does to this day with Roy. And that would have been a good fight, but it's just... Tony's one of my all-time favorite fighters, too. You know Roy and James Toney. I'm a huge fan of both. And the thing about James Toney is his style, though, is not great for someone like Roy. When you like to fight on the inside, a guy who jumps in and slaps you with hooks and gets out.
Man. Tony at cruiserweight and heavyweight looked amazing. Like, I wouldn't sleep on him as an underdog in that fight.
So did Roy.
He only had 1 fight, though.
Yeah, he did. He did have 1 fight, but he won every round for a joke.
It's true. I think if he had, like I said, if he had avoided Lennox and fought all these other guys, not the Klitschko brothers also, he would be an all-time great heavyweight, and nobody would even dispute that he would be the greatest fighter of all time. We wouldn't be talking about Sugar Ray Robinson. We wouldn't be talking about Floyd Mayweather. We wouldn't be talking about Muhammad Ali. Maybe Roy Jones, and then everybody else would be behind.
We would still be talking about him.
Not number 1.
But we wouldn't be...
Not number 1.
No, not number 1. To me, I don't even know... Like, if you look at just what Roy did, like, Roy... When we watched the Griffin fight the other day, right?
Yeah.
And the first Montel Griffin fight. And you have to realize, in that fight, he was probably up 2 or 3 rounds when he got disqualified. And he dropped him 2 times. So he was probably up like 4 points when he got disqualified. And we thought that was a pretty close fight.
Yeah.
But it really wasn't that close of a fight.
It was close for a Roy fight.
It was close for a Roy fight because when Roy was in his prime, he would win. He would wouldn't lose a round, and he would probably stop you. That's how Roy would do it. He'd win like 7-8 rounds and then knock you out.
He'd win every second of every round, and he would decide when he wanted the ref to stop the fight. He'd look at the ref and go, "Are we going to keep doing this? Okay, now I'm going to stop."
Just look what he did to what was his name? Richard Hall?
Yeah, Pazienza.
It's like whenever he wanted to, he would just decide to hit you. He's the only dude that I've ever seen put his hands behind his back and knock a guy out.
Yeah. So the last thing I want to talk about, last topic when it comes to Roy Jones moving to heavyweight. If he had stayed at heavyweight, we would not be talking about Antonio Tarver the way we talk about him now.
No.
We
wouldn't.
A great light heavyweight.
He still would have been a very good light heavyweight. And probably would have ended up being the champ that era.
Why do we talk about Joe Frazier?
Because he beat a flat-footed Ali, man. Think about this. The Ali that beat Cleveland Williams or Sonny Liston or Floyd Patterson. Think about that, Ali. Joe wouldn't have even won a round. He probably would have got stopped. He wouldn't have touched him.
Like, he's just one of these. He fought the guy at the right time, the way Joe Frazier fought Ali at the right time.
Tarver fought Jones at the right time, and Jones still won a fight.
Jones still has a win on him.
Jones still beat him. Okay?
So no shine taken away from Tarver. I've met him. He's a great guy. He's a nice person. Hell of a fighter.
And yeah, he's an all-time great.
One of the best light heavyweights ever. But he's not in the conversation of a Roy Jones Jr., prime Roy Jones.
No.
Prime Roy Jones would have dealt with him in a few rounds.
Let's put it this way. If Roy never went up to heavyweight, he would have probably stopped Tarver.
Yeah.
And if he didn't stop him, he would have won every round.
And we wouldn't have saw a rematch.
And if Roy didn't come back down from heavyweight and never fought Tarver, Tarver probably would have became the champ, maybe even the undisputed champ. But he wouldn't have had the shine he has because of those 2 victories he has over Roy Jones. And same with Glenn Johnson.
But they did what they did. They got a name for themselves. Good for them. They made millions. Roy Jones Jr. is my all-time favorite fighter. I think he's the best to ever do it. Hope you guys like this what-if scenario. We got a bunch more coming. If you have any ideas for these, shoot them my way. We're going to keep them going. Episode 1, Roy Jones Jr., State of Heavyweight. What do you think?
Man, if you guys disagree with anything we said, this is up for debate. Put your comments in the comment box and let us know, man. And if you agree with us, let us know too, because we want to know what you guys think. I know there's going to be a lot of you guys out there calling me dumb and a casual fan, but hey, I'm not a casual fan. That's just my opinion. That's how highly I regard Roy Jones.
All right, we're out.
Easy.